Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the practice with a stream of light coming in. I know this will change over time as well. I've only prepared our basic props, which is a block. I like that in general support. You might like to have something similar as well. Books and other things will do too. And I've got a blanket, not necessarily to keep me warm, but to support as well. Now, once we've got all of this, I would ask to start lying down on the backs. So taking a slow movement down onto the backs and finding a comfortable lying position. Once you're lying down on your back, there's not much to do. You can choose to bring a cushion under the head so the shoulders can soften to the floor. You might allow your arms to rest slightly out towards the sides, perhaps, and the palms of the hands facing upwards. Your feet could be on the ground if that is comfortable. You might have them wide and let the knees fall in. If any of you prefer extending their legs out and it's really comfortable, please feel free to do that as well. Shuffle yourself, maybe shoulder blades a bit under, the hips comfortably on the floor, the head centered, and then perhaps closing the eyes or finding a steady gazing point toward the ceiling. I've asked you to turn the palms to face upward as a gesture of openness. While openness can be challenging, and if this is not for you, feel free to rest your hands downwards or on the body instead. Our topic for today is openness as well as acceptance. These gestures, when we're turning the palms of the hands upward, are, in that sense, a good representation of our topic today. When we turn the hands to be open, we're showing a bit of vulnerability, also a sign that we are ready to receive. But it can mean the opposite to receiving as well, as it could mean that we're open to give. Perhaps the hands facing upward, more a sign of both. Letting yourself be more open to whatever might arise here. Knowing that you are resting in a safe place. As you allow this idea to settle, sometimes an intention arises. And if there is an intention towards openness or acceptance, perhaps setting this intention now for your practice and mentally repeating it to yourself 3 times. We might from here explore a pranayama or breathing practice. As you become aware of the breath that is flowing through your nostrils, starting to lengthen this breath. It's not so important of where and how you're breathing in and out of the body at this point. If you do have certain habits or practices, please bring them along. Otherwise, just breathing in nice and slowly through the nostrils. And then exhaling slowly from your nostrils. Inhaling slowly. Perhaps if it suits, creating a count. And breathing out slowly, and perhaps using this count on the exhalation, and then breathing in for the same count. If counting isn't yours, just feel into the length of each breath. As you breathe out and then inhaling for the same length. Balancing your breathing and bringing a sense of harmony to it. When the breath is either countably balanced or you feel it is balanced, more familiar with how this is experienced within yourself, you might explore the pauses between the breaths. Just feeling into it as there is a short pause after the inhalation and another one at the end of your exhalation. Keeping the breaths even in and out breaths, and focusing now on these short pauses in between the breaths as well. As you bring awareness to these pauses, you might become familiar with how you are responding to these pauses. And if it sits right with you, you could then begin to extend the pauses deliberately. If you choose to do so, start looking into the pause after the exhalation first and feel into how long can you comfortably hold the breath outside of your body. And then do the same length of pause for that space after the inhalation. Oftentimes, the pause after the exhalation is slightly more challenging. So perhaps now your in and out breaths have the same or similar lengths, and maybe also the pauses do. If you can have the pauses the same lengths as your breath, this is also an option. If you find yourself getting easily distracted, add the visualization of a box to it and let your breath flow along the sides of the box. The in-breath, the pause, the out-breath, the pause. So that each breath with its pauses becomes one way around your box. You've got individual lengths here. Allow yourself a few more of those box breaths. When you next come to your exhalation, finish the breathing practice there and start breathing naturally again. Perhaps aware of any changes that might have occurred, any sensations that you potentially notice. Now return to a deeper breathing in and out, but still keeping the pauses to themselves. Just a deeper out breath and a longer in breath, so that your breath is again balanced, inhalation and exhalation. If you have your legs extended or your feet out wide, perhaps bending the knees now and placing the soles of the feet comfortably onto the floor. Your hands are resting on the body or closer to your sides. Let them drift out a tad bit further. While you then inhale, turn your head, just roll it over your support. And as you take your long out breath, centering the head. On the inhalation, rolling your head to the other side. On the exhalation, centering. No need to wait for my words as you keep doing so. On each inhale, you might turn the head. On each exhale, it comes to the center. Present within your breath and the movement itself paired with the sensations that might arise. When you're balanced, turning your head left and right, center it again. Do the same and keep the pace of breathing with your knees. While you breathe in, let them roll to one side. On the out breath, bring them to the center. On the inhale, let the knees roll to the other side. On the out breath, bring them to the center. And continue that for a little while. Your movement linked to the pace of your breathing. You might choose to add the same movement of the head that we practiced before. Turning the head with or opposite to the knees is your choice. You're moving to the side on your in-breath and you're centering on the out-breath. The same here. When you have completed rolling to the sides evenly, come to stay in your center. Bring your arms a bit closer down along the sides of the body, the palms of the hands now touching the floor. Your fingertips pointing down to the other end of your mat. As you begin by flexing your right foot. And on the inhalation, sliding the heel out long, the leg extending over your mat. Then point the foot, and while you breathe out, slide the foot in, but also give your knee a hug using your hands to your chest. Lower arms again, flex the foot, begin to extend the leg on or just above the mat as you inhale. Then point the foot and with the exhale, sliding the leg back, as well as potentially giving the knee a squeeze to the chest. Continue that, arms down, foot flexed as you inhale to extend your leg out long, maintaining stability in the rest of the body. Pointing the foot while you're breathing out, bringing the knee perhaps right into your chest. Inhaling, foot is flexed, body stable, extending leg out long. Pointing the foot, and as you breathe out, hug it back in towards your chest. Last round, breathing in to slowly extend. And out to potentially hug in. Landing your foot now back onto the floor, arms again along the side of the body. Left foot flexes, and as you breathe in, begin to slide the heel out to the end of the mat. Point the foot, and as you breathe out, bring the leg back, but perhaps also hugging the knee in towards the chest. Arms back along the sides, foot is flexed. Breathing in to slowly extend the leg on or above the mat. Pointing the foot on the out breath, bringing the leg in. Maybe also a squeeze of the knee to the chest. Flexing the foot again. Stability in your body. Inhalation, leg extends. Pointing on the out breath, still with stability before you hug the knee in towards the chest potentially. Repeat that for another 3 breaths. A lot of strength in the body to avoid unnecessary movement. And very deliberate and slow leg extensions and hugs. This might be your last round here as well, as you bring the knee into the chest. Perhaps you bring the second knee into the chest as well and give both of them a loving squeeze in. You could then choose to rock a little bit from side to side. Perhaps a soft massage across your back. Your choice then to roll over onto your side, or maybe you've got the energy and would like to rather rock forward and backward a few times. Coming eventually to a seated position. Now I will use my block underneath my sitting bones to prop myself up. And I will choose an easy pose. Easy pose in the sense of Sukhasana means to place one leg in front of the other. But what is a good easy pose if it's not easy? So perhaps you choose to sit with legs long or onto your heels. Resting as you turn the palms of your hands to face upward. And perhaps even bring the inner sides of the hands together in front of you. Maybe even snuggling the thumbs up towards the side of your index fingers. I will bring this gesture to the camera so you can see it. And with that gesture holding there in front of you, you might choose to steady your gaze or close the eyes. This mudra symbolizes bowls. That sense of openness we already practiced lying down with the hands facing upwards. As well as the idea of acceptance to whatever we receive. While you might breathe slowly and deeply, let your arms open out to either side as you take your breath in. On the breath out, loosely place your fingertips upon your shoulders. While you inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades, lift your heart, maybe roll your gaze up towards the ceiling. As you breathe out, bring the elbows together, tuck the chin in and round your spine. With the inhalation, open the chest, squeeze the shoulder blades and elbows back. On the out breath, draw the elbows together, round and lean into your back, chin might tuck in. Repeat that for 3 more breaths. We're now opening our heart space, the energy center in the middle of our chest. You completed your rounds. Come back to a tall spine. Open the arms back out to either side. And release your hands back into the mudra, your hand gesture, those bowls. You may change the cross of your legs if that is for you. And with the inhalation, opening the arms again. Letting your right hand touch the floor as you bring your left arm over the head for a side bend now. On the inhale, bring both palms facing up, back out to your side. Turn the left hand down. On the out breath, lean across. We'll do that once more to each side. Palms open as you inhale. Touch one down, side bend on the exhale. Inhaling to center and out breath to the other side. Breathing in as you come back to the center and joining your bowl back in front of your torso, belly as you come back in. On the inhale, then opening your arms once more. This time, wrap the arms around you to your liking as you come into a twist to your favorite side. Then reopen the arms as you breathe in and try the twist to the other side. Opening your arms once again as you breathe in and joining the hands back together, Pushpaputa Mudra. As you breathe in now, lift what you've got upwards. Then release it as you bring your hands down and change your legs over so you can come onto your hands and knees. I created a habit of placing the block to the front side end of the mat. You might do the same. I will use my blanket as a little bit of cushioning underneath the knees. As you place the knees down at about hip distance apart, also spreading your hands out onto the floor. And as I encourage often, if you can stand on the whole palms of the hands, make it Hasta Bandha, the hand lock, as you place your weight slightly forward into the hands to bases of the fingers and take a gentle grip with the pads of the fingers into the mat. So it feels a bit more like a suction cup, the mat being sucked into the palm of the hand, with your index middle fingers pointing forward. You're grounding down through the tops of the feet as you inhale here. On the exhalation, round your spine into the cat. Keep things as they are. As you inhale, find length in your spine and raising your right leg up. With the out breath, round again, your nose towards the knee. On the inhale, extending the leg and the spine. A breath out to curl it in. Repeating for one more, breathing in. On the exhale, curling in. You may now help or land that right foot forward in between your hands. You could even choose to wiggle the foot a bit forward and lean slightly in. Checking into the hip flexor on the other side. Then slowly rocking back and realigning your knee underneath your hip. Hands back out, Hasta Bandha back on. And as you breathe in, let your left leg extend back. On the out breath, draw the knee into the chest, round your spine. Inhaling, length of spine and leg. Exhaling, curling back in. One more, breathing in. Out breath to bring the knee into the chest, landing or helping your foot forward. The same here. If you feel like leaning forward, wiggle your foot towards the front end of the mat before you let your hips sink into this lunge. Tucking now the backside toes under, lifting the knee off the floor and stepping the foot forward so to land in a standing forward bend. As you land here, please align the outer edges of your feet to be parallel. Fingertips could be down on the floor, on your legs somewhere. The head is low if that's available to you. You're looking through between the knees. The knees themselves could be bent. The tailbone might be high. And the upper body is rather relaxed as you hang down here. For a long, slow out breath now, begin to uncurl your spine to a standing pose. And with the inhale, lift your shoulders. And on the exhale, shrug them down and turn the palms of your hands forward. I will now make a very delicate move and bring the blanket off the mat. While I will be facing you now, you might choose to stay at the short front edge of your mat. The outer edges of the feet are still parallel here. You're squeezing the inner heels lightly toward each other to find more stability and support in the form. And we will join back into Pushpaputta Mudra by bringing the hands back into our bowl. Your steady gaze might assist you as you breathe in to open your arms back out towards the side. As you bend to the side, let the lower arm cross in front of your body. On the inhale, come back out with your arms, and we're changing sides. Lower arm crosses the body, bending to the side. Inhale to open. We repeat, exhaling for a side bend. Inhaling to open, out breath for a side bend. We'll repeat once more to each side using the pace of your own breath. As you come back to the center, joining your hands back into our mudra, the bowl in front of you, still open, ready to give and receive what is required for yourself. As you open your arms again to the sides, leave elbows a bit closer and turn your head to the right, looking into the right palm. Then coming back into the center, into your bowl. And change again. Open as you turn. Closing the bowl as you center. Open a breath. Closing to center. One more. Breathing in. And out to center. Now let your arms reach all the way out and up as you breathe in. On the exhale, let the hands reach for your hips. Raise your right heel or right knee on the in-breath and step the foot back and out to hip distance before you land on the foot, bending your front knee. Now, you were holding onto the pelvis while you were standing on two legs evenly. The pelvis here ideally feels the same. Squeezing your feet in toward each other. You might choose to raise your arms up. Not yours. Hands can rest at the heart. Arms lifted, the palms could touch or be separate. Your feet are still squeezing lightly in toward each other. Your gaze is either steady in front or upward. A tilt of the head is possible. But if the neck doesn't allow, rolling the eyes up is another possibility. Warrior one. How else could we be open if we have no ground underneath us, no stability? This shape bringing exactly that. If your arms aren't extended, but we all straighten the leg on the in-breath, extend your arms up. On the out-breath, circle the arms behind your back. You can choose here between a reverse prayer or hold onto wrists or elbows. While you squeeze your shoulder blades together and use the front foot, lifting the gaze on the in-breath. You might have a little bend in the front knee while you fold forward over this leg, but aim to straighten the leg again with just a micro bend in the knee if you can. Keep your elbows, shoulder blades close, your head perhaps very low. As you stand, we're oftentimes sinking down in the hip of the front leg. So use a push into the ball of that foot to realign yourself. Both legs are long here and both feet are grounded. Few more breaths. With your next breath in, bend the front knee again. Hold it bent as you lift your upper body. Squeeze your feet back toward each other. Release the arms from behind as you take a deep breath in to raise them up. On the out breath, release your arms along the sides and step your feet to touch together. Breathing in to lift the arms, maybe even a standing back bend. Then squeeze your knees together if they're touching. Bring your hands to the heart, bend the knees and the hips, and come into chair pose, Utkarasana. As you stand here, the weight's rather even across the soles of your feet. Your sitting bones are open, lower belly muscles are lightly supporting, and the palms of the hands might actively press together. As you inhale here, keep the palms pressing. On the exhale, twist your body to the right. If you would like to, you could place your elbow to your thigh or touch it to the outside of the knee. Perfectly fine to stay standing, pressing palms together. Your knees are close, but just to check that the left knee is still in the same height as your right. Option there is a breath in to open your arms. One pointing up, one pointing down. Twisted chair pose. A breath in to swing your upper arm down, and then push down as you take another inhale, lifting your arms. On the out breath, release your arms back down by your sides and separating your feet again. Hands might join back into the bowl. Your gaze is steady. On a breath in, could you reach your arms up, lift your left heel or the left knee. On the out breath, bring the hands down to the hip and extend the leg backwards. Point the toes to the ground and out to hip distance before landing onto the back foot and bending the front knee. Pelvis again feels balanced underneath your hands. Drawing your feet in toward each other as you stand here. Your choice there to reach your arms up over the head. Palms touching or hands separate, your choice. Perhaps you prefer hands at the heart if your shoulders are sore. Otherwise, prefer to have your arms extended. While you might choose your arm position, so could you choose looking forward, looking up with your eyes, or tilting the head. Keep squeezing your feet in toward each other for this stability. Feeling the stability and the strength of the warrior to work with the openness. What is it that you are working on? You might bring that back to your mind. If your arms are extended, keep them this way. We'll straighten the front leg and lift the arms on the in-breath. On the out-breath again, circle your arms behind your back. If you were holding onto the wrist or the elbow, change the arm on top. No need to change anything if you have a reverse prayer behind your back. While you squeeze the shoulder blades, lift your heart and gaze, breathing in. Maybe a bend into the front knee while you're folding forward. But once you get to that forward bend, and it could be all the way, the leg is straightening again. There is that micro bend in the knee that remains, but we're pushing away with the ball of the foot to be more firm in the stance, but also to bring your hips into balance. Stay here while lightly bringing elbows and shoulder blades closer. On your next in-breath, bend the front knee and start to lift your torso. Keep the front knee bent. Squeeze your feet lightly back together. On the inhale, let your arms reach up, lifting the back heel. And stepping your feet together as you bring the hands to the heart to bend your knees and your hips. Now bring the palms of the hands firmly to touch, the gentle pressure between them. Your legs might be squeezed together too. And with your next out-breath, turning to the left. You can keep this twist floating, or you might place your elbow to a thigh or even to the outside of a knee. If you've gone deeper or in general, have a look at your right knee and keep that in the same line with your left. Same option as on the other side. You may choose to open your arms. As you push down, lifting back up on the inhale and releasing your arms along the sides while separating your feet again. As we come back into our mountain form, we will take the breath in to raise the right knee and the arms again, flexing through the foot. As you breathe out, bring the bowl down while you rest your ankle to the thigh and draw the bowl in front of your chest while maintaining a flexion in the right ankle joint. The spine here is long as you pause. Perhaps reaching your arms forward and then lifting the knee and the arms as you breathe in. Opening the arms out as you land the foot, but join the bowl back together as you land here. We will change sides as you bend your left knee, reaching up, ankle to the thigh, and the hands joining back into their bowl. Keep the spine long, the ankle flexed that you raised, your gaze steady. Standing figure 4. While you might reach the arms forward again and lift the knee, breathe in. Then land your arms along the sides and the foot down onto the floor for a last mountain form. On the inhale, raise your arms back up. You might touch the palms of the hands, soften your knees, and roll your spine down to a forward fold. On the inhale, wave your spine long like a half lift. On the out breath, place your hands and your knees down onto the mat. Long extended arms as you roll your spine forward into a kneeling plank. If you insist, raise the knees off the floor for full plank, but more important is your tailbone towards your heels. Inhale here, and then keep your elbows close by breathing out to lower down onto your belly. Rest the forehead for a moment. If it feels right, leave your legs extended. And then slide your forearms down in front of you while lifting your head and chest. Now, I like my elbows underneath the shoulders, but when the back is a bit achy, it might feel nicer to slide them a bit further forward. So that is a change in where the back is bending backwards. No matter what you do, lift out of your shoulders. Ground through the tops of your feet, so the knees might lightly rise, and reach your heart space or sternum forward. Your eyes might be closed here as you take a few breaths in the swings pose. Breathing in again deeply, letting your elbows spread out. As you land, you might touch the hands one upon the other and rest your forehead onto those stacked hands. You might even choose to bring the big toes together and let your heels roll out for Makrasana or crocodile form. While you lie here, nourish your way of breathing. As you begin to deepen your breath again, perhaps even an even length between in and out breaths. Feel that the breath pushes into the floor and with that expands into different parts of your body. One last deep breath now. Once completed, sliding your hands underneath the shoulders again. A breath in to come up onto the hands and the knees, and sliding the knees perhaps a little bit in as you come to a seat. You could take your blanket back for the seated pose, perhaps fold it a bit more, and use that as a sitting support. If you prefer higher, that's fair enough. Extending your legs out in front when you're ready. Let's step the right foot onto the ground, maybe hugging the knee in and flexing the foot on the extended leg. Opposite arm might even wrap around that knee, or the opposite hand stays there. Right hand fingertips land behind your back gently. You're pulling yourself up to lengthen the back inhale, and then come into a twist on the exhale. Keep your shoulders rather soft. Find steadiness in your gaze here. And although you're looking to the side, also feel into the groundedness of the form. If it doesn't feel grounded, take a note of your left foot. Is that still flexed and helping to anchor that side of the body? A breath in to turn the head forward, And as you breathe out, let the knee roll out to the side, and you might touch the foot somewhere to the inside of your leg. Placing the fingertips down and pulling your straight leg a bit in, so you might face it. You can bend the knee, but keep the foot in a flexion while you breathe in, and then lean over your extended leg when breathing out. To me, it's not important whether your hands are resting on the floor, on the leg, or on the foot. These are just positions totally irrelevant to how this feels for you. So finding that straight forward fold besides the knee dropping out, leaving your shoulders easy. And if you want a deeper extension, you might tuck your forehead down towards your knee. Few breaths here. As you breathe in, lifting the body, on the breath out, drawing the leg in, extending both legs out long, and drawing your left knee up towards you. Landing the foot onto the ground, flexing the foot on the long leg, the opposite hand or elbow wraps around the bent knee, and the left hand fingertips land right behind you. On the out breath, then come into a twist. Same here, let your shoulders be easy. Find steadiness in a gazing point and keep your breath flowing. Not only are we nourishing the spine with this twist, but we're also allowing a light stimulation of the abdominal organs. Next, inhale, turn the head forward. And while you breathe out, let your knee fall out to the side, aligning your foot to the inside of the leg. Fingertips down and pulling the straight leg in while you might choose to bend the knee. Now lengthen your spine in breath and folding slowly forward while breathing out. As you bring your body downwards, you may do the same here and tuck the forehead down towards your knees. A few deeper breaths here. Lifting yourself a little and drawing your hands back, extending both legs out long. Now I will slide off my blanket support and bring that back to be a cushion for the head. If you are anywhere near a wall or a door like myself, please feel free to actually practice legs up the wall pose. If you choose to do so, hips could still be elevated on a block. You could sit with the side of the hip towards your wall, then roll onto the back so the hips are nice and close and your heels can rest with ease against the wall. If you want to come with me, because there's no free wall, you still come to lie down. Bend your knees, grab your block, lift your hips up, and you might slide that block directly underneath the sacrum. Please make sure that it's comfortably low on the spine, rather than on the moving vertebrae. You could then lift your feet off the floor and join those with the heels resting on the wall as you imagine your wall, but hopefully are able to lift your legs here with ease. If you find keeping the legs up there challenging, you could always rest your hands behind the legs to assist them. If they're not required, maybe For the rest of us, the arms could fall out towards the sides. And again, the palms of the hands, they're facing upward. Arrive now in a sense of stillness. Feeling just into the reversed flow of energy and bodily fluids. And remaining connected to the sensation of breathing in and out. Viparita Karani, legs up the wall pose, a fountain of youth. If your legs are up the wall, let your knees bend into the chest, and please do the same if you are on a block. However, if your legs are up on the wall, roll over to your side and stay there for a little. If you're with me on the back, turn the palms back down to the floor and land down one foot after the other. Those of you resting on their sides now, coming to the mat and lying down for Shavasana. For those with me, lift your hips up on a breath in, take the block out, roll your spine down as you breathe out. And then you too might let your arms fall away from the body again. Take feet out wide as an alternative, drop knees in, constructive rest. Or perhaps a full Shavasana with legs extended out long or over a bolster, the feet rolling out towards the sides. I suggest another little tuck off the shoulder blades, centering your head. Feel the length of the neck. Steady your gaze to the ceiling or close your eyes. Taking one deep, slow inhalation. And open the mouth, let the breath softly escape, coming to that sense of relaxation as you land here. As you land in that stillness of a Shavasana, corpse pose, you might find you're very easily distracted, and that's okay. Each distraction is another opportunity to learn, to guide you back. But not only that, your palms are facing upward, you're still expressing a sense of openness and acceptance. The energy of the mudra that we repetitively practiced is still present with us. Perhaps so is your intention. When we think about openness and acceptance, it is only that which is already within ourselves that we can attract. Which is why it's so important to also be in the knowing of where the mind is, or mental hygiene. There's no way we could avoid negative feelings, as they occasionally or more regularly arise within us. But there's a way to come to terms with them and even change them at any time we wish. Only when our hands are open can we enrich this world. Only with an open mind and an open heart can we receive the universal consciousness. You might see your two hands like open flowers, and even imagine another flower on top of your hands. While inhaling golden rays come from the universe that embody love, warmth, joy, and peace. Through the open flowers, they flow into your innermost self. So let yourself be filled. And take a pause perhaps in your breath just for a moment. And radiate this wealth through your heart into the world while you breathe out. And you might stay with this idea for a few more breaths. You might let go of the image of this light in the flower. While you could contemplate to silently repeat the following affirmation. I open myself to divine joy, healing power, light, love, what you prefer. Let myself be filled with it. I radiate it into the world through my heart. If this aligns with your intention, you might combine this affirmation in your mind with your personal intention. I open myself to the divine. Let myself be filled with it. I radiate it into the world through my heart. As you return your awareness to the breath that flows, begin to deepen this breath, drawing prana back in, energy flow, breath. Perhaps from the deeper breath, a sense of movement or stretching comes, and you could act upon that. As you could then choose to rise to sit with me over your side, over the front of the body. And when you do come to sit, you might bring the bowl back into your hands. This gesture of openness and acceptance. You know best what you're holding in there. Eyes closed or gaze into the bowl. Cup what you're holding there with your hands and bring that as a prayer position in front of your heart. Maybe your thumbs are touching to the heart. While we share with a light bow toward each other. Namaste.